this is Lady Boulay. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And I just want to say another word about the state of Alabama, because Cullman is in the spotlight now for their little Christmas village, and it has been revealed, and rightly so, that Cullman is a sundown town. It has been a sundown town until recently, when they needed to generate more revenue for that area, because anytime your town is not receiving revenue and you're not bringing in businesses, your town dries up, your population goes down, and you become completely irrelevant as a town. But I want to say something else about the state. There are 4 major towns in Alabama: Montgomery, Mobile, Birmingham, and Huntsville. Those are the major towns. Everything else is a mid-size to small town, to a village, to a little hamlet, like the one I came from. In all of these towns, there are black people and white people. Most of these towns, the majority of the people in the town are white. We have been living among these people from day one. Some of our parents grew up on those people's property, or on somebody's place, or in the quarter that used to be the slave quarters on those people's property. We've been around these people all the time. They've been around us all the time. They are not sundown towns. That isn't to say that there's never been any problems, but black people in the South are very resilient. Many of our families own land in these towns. We've been in these towns since these towns were established. So we're not running. And in the past, there were times when black people had to take a stand, because there's not always somewhere to run to. Sometimes you have to take a stand where you are. And that's what they did. And now, living in the South is probably one of the best areas in the country to live if you don't want to be dealing with a lot of illegal immigrants, if you don't want to be dealing with a lot of traffic, if you don't want to be dealing with a lot of the gang violence and all this kind of stuff that they talk about in other cities. You don't have to deal with that living in these small southern towns. There are families who have children that moved off to places like Los Angeles and New York, who send their sons back to the South for them to be safe. It's not perfect. Occasionally, some little group will get the bright idea that they're going to be in a gang and have beef with somebody, and then something happens and it gets dealt with very quickly. Now, all places that you live have problems. But as I said before, black people have had to be resilient. Black people took a stand in these southern states from the very beginning, and have the feeling that you're not going to have me on the run all the time. I'm going to take a stand. And when you take a stand with a bully, it makes a difference. All of Alabama is not sundown towns. Many black Americans are living thriving and successful lives in Alabama. Even in Selma, there are very successful black families in Selma. So don't listen to the news media, and don't listen to these people who don't live down here. Alabama is home to more HBCUs than any other state in the country. A total of 11 HBCUs, 8 4-year schools, and 3 2-year schools. So you can get any kind of educational start in Alabama that you want, not to mention the PWIs. Alabama and Maryland have the lowest unemployment rates for blacks in the country at about 3%. So Alabama has about a 3% black unemployment rate. I think that's pretty good. About 25% of black Alabamians hold college degrees, and I think that's pretty low considering the resources that we have. But there are black Alabamians working in skilled labor jobs as well as professional level jobs. And I respect and honor the people who say that they or their family left the state of Alabama because of racism. And I know they're telling the truth because there have been people in families that I know about who left the state because of racism. But I wanted to come back and say something on behalf of the state of Alabama, of the black people and the white people, because obviously, if it was so awful, many black people would be gone. There are about 1,500,000 black people in the state of Alabama, of the ones that they count, because you know they don't count all of us. So let's just remember that. And all of this stuff, this racism, it really does start to take a toll on people because even in the state of Alabama, there's a lot of poverty among white people. They and their statistics and their media like to focus on black people. Anything that you Google about black people, you're going to get the most negative responses, and they're always comparing black people to white people as if they want to prove to the world that white people are better than black people. But that's just statistics. The reality is not always what they put in their statistics and in their media. There's a lot of poverty here. There's a lot of meth addiction around here. There's a lot of this biracial, these white girls having babies by black guys. There's a lot of that going on, not only in Alabama, but all of these southern states. So this stuff starts to take a toll on people after a while. It's not just taking a toll on black people. It's taking a toll on everybody. So everybody is really required to be decent human beings. Because if you're not, you reap what you sow. So right now in Cullman, they're beginning to reap what they've sown. And it's just the beginning because they have not been good stewards over the land and they have not been decent human beings. And they can come on and make all the videos they want to make about all of them not being like that. All of them aren't like that. We know all of them are not like that. All of them are not diehard racists, but it's enough of them up there for it to be a problem. So that's their burden to bear. But there are decent white people in Alabama, just as there are decent black people in Alabama. God rules and super rules the universe, and he has his people in all places. And if you are not a good steward over the earth, in the fullness of time, it will show. So anyway, y'all, I wanted to speak up for the decent people of the state of Alabama because there are many. Thank you for listening. Have a good evening.